Hawktober O2. The Activision O2 brand was born in late 2001 with a bright shining star, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which still to this day is considered by many one of the all-time greatest games. But unfortunately, this beloved game was also a host to a disgusting parasite leeching off of its success and sucking it dry. While well received, the first Matt Hoffman game suffered, only being available on previous generation hardware, and thus was essentially advertisement bait for the consumer, featuring videos promoting upcoming games on the more advanced systems. Pro Skater 3, Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder, which was mediocre trash, and Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2? Really, Activision? You were so confident in this blatant brand of clones that you decided to double down and already had a sequel in the works before you even knew if this brand was going to succeed? Well, don't stroke your ego boner too hard. Jesus Christ. It's clear the original plan for these spin-offs was to launch an extreme sports empire, creating several clones that could then be oversaturated with rushed yearly sequels and print a bunch of money. These initial releases did okay numbers, but okay numbers is not enough to establish a dominant brand, and Activision saw this clear as day. So 2002 saw these plans scrapped in favour of just focusing on standalone spin-offs instead, making Pro BMX 2 the only sequel of the O2 brand. I guess that's just what happens when you finish the sequel in time for the first game's release. Developed by Rainbow Studios, who were known for a lot of motocross games before and since, it opens with the standard video montage of different riders, but oh my god, this thing will put you to sleep with the biddly, twangy music, and it just goes on and on. You can actually watch all 3 intros to the first 3 Pro Skater games in the time it takes you to slog through this single intro. That may not seem important, especially since you can just skip it, but to me, it says a lot about the tone of this game. It lacks energy and just feels disconnected from what helped to make Pro Skater a household name. The title screen here takes us through the garage to see all of the riders, and again, there is no option for custom characters here, which might actually be for the best after the abhorrent failure featured in Pro Snowboarder. So jumping into the game now, everything looks really good. Whether you're in a skate park, a mountainous dirt track, or on the streets, this game has some impressive graphics. Even the riders actually look how they look in real life, which was quite rare for the time. Even in Pro Skater 3, the skaters didn't quite look right, so the generational leap in quality here is astounding. The gameplay as well echoes that by featuring far more depth and a weighty, realistic feel. Things control much the same as you might expect, but it's kind of striking how accurately this portrays hopping on a bike and just simply riding around. But also new is the ability to get into an extensively deep flatland arsenal for more advanced players to execute crazy scores, and everything just flows so well, it's almost hypnotizing. I'm confident assuming that actual BMX riders love how this game feels to play, given how realistic everything is. But combined with how this game is structured, I find it creates more pointless frustration than anything else, which we'll get into. Each character has different stats, of course, which unfortunately can't be upgraded this time around. What you see is what you get, which in a way does actually improve replayability, as certain courses that are too easy with one character may offer more of a challenge playing with someone else. The challenges themselves have also had an overhaul. It's still the same arcade style with a 2-minute timer, but our goals for each level are now broken down into different levels of difficulty. Once you pass the 4 easy objectives, you unlock the next set, and completing those, you can attempt the hard challenges. For each tier that you complete, you earn points which can then be spent to open up a new level of your choosing. It's great getting to decide what path to take, and before each level, you get a quick little little video to watch, very similar to the first game. But this time around, the videos are just weird. It's like a compilation of crap left on the cutting room floor of another video project. They provide no relevance to the level you're about to play, and they're not interesting. Show Matt breaking world records, or have a quick interview. I don't care about watching you talk BS over dinner. This is Project 8 type shit, picking strawberries with Bob Burnquist. I hate it. But whatever, that all sounds like pretty standard stuff by this point, after all of these same games we've looked at over the years, and as long as it all works, then there really shouldn't be a problem. And at first, there isn't. But the longer we play, the small problems start to creep in with each new level, slowly but surely, until it all boils over. For starters, while levels may look nice most of the time, god these are fucking abysmal to play through. Poor layouts, no planning of space whatsoever, and a sheer lack of decent obstacles half of the time. Plus, there is no variety. The only levels that stand out drastically are the Mountainside Lodge and the Bayou in New Orleans, which is only one shade brighter than pitch fucking black, I might add. And you all know how I feel about overly dark levels. I'll take bleak, foggy and fun over good graphics and realistic control any day of the week. And that's the problem I have with this game. Realistic controls just don't gel with arcade objectives. Breaking down the missions by difficulty and having to unlock the different tiers takes so much away from the experience. It's so rewarding gaining the skills to master a level in a single run, and that's completely lost here. Even if you are good enough to master each tier, it's not fun to master in the first place. Even simple challenges like collecting 5 items on the map are completely butchered here, which is just shocking to me. You can't just collect the thing, no. Instead, the game makes you hit the object, stop, wait for the item to appear, and then crawl around trying to pick the fucking thing up. It murders your momentum and just makes everything take so long to complete over multiple runs. It's the same problem when you've got to hit a certain mark or reach a specific spot. Oh, but Jack, the controls are so realistic. Yeah, but at what cost? This game is so awkward and stiff, it's like me whenever a girl looks in my direction. It's a fucking mess. In free ride and with open flowing objectives, this is amazing to play, but it just refuses to work how I need it to most of the time. It's like the bonking in Pro Snowboarder. If I can't naturally fall into it and figure out how to do it through hours of playtime, then there is a problem. And again, like that game, there is no variety here. No competition levels, no downhill courses, and no races. Nothing to break up the monotony. Grinding, that's another thing I have a problem with. If you attempt a grind across multiple objects in the Tony Hawk games, holding the button lets you continue onto adjacent objects, and jumping elsewhere maintains your direction and speed. But then comes this fucking game, where you have to jump across these trees, and I swear, I spent 30 minutes on this one thing, because Matt gets propelled at the speed of light when you try to jump from one branch to the next. It's a piss take, and it plagues so many areas in this game. And of course, it wouldn't be a Matt Hoffman game without some wild and spastic physics whenever you faceplant the ground. Salt in the wound at this point. It's honestly such a shame to see so much promise with the care and attention put into the controls and impressive graphics that slapping it into this tired formula ruined all of that good work. Pro Skater 4 was right around the corner at the time, and Neversoft saw the format just not offering what it used to, so shifted focus to accommodate a more free play and open structure. And I think that's what this game needed to do. Take the 12 objectives on each level, make them all available from the beginning, and remove the timer. That would have saved this game in my opinion. It would have given you the space and freedom to tackle objectives at your own pace, enjoy hunting down the collectible items and other secret rewards hidden across the levels, but most importantly, the heavier realistic controls would have had room to breathe. One of my favourite parts of the game is finding the photo opportunities, busting a rad trick and saving it to the album to look back on and see some of the coolest moments from my playthrough. That is the perfect type of goal for a free ride campaign. It's like Proving Ground, which was an underrated gem. This game could have been ahead of its time in comparison to everything else, but instead stood by the restrictive and exhausting format that the players were sick of. It's just so boring, and usually this is where a bumping soundtrack might help to elevate this game, but no. This is well beyond the sloppy seconds of a Pro Skater soundtrack, with very few exceptions. I know Bomb Funk's Freestyler is the forefront of music technology, but it's just not enough to save this thing. Once you complete every single objective, you unlock this cramped waterslide pool area, and let me tell you, this is one of the most uncomfortable, unstructured and disastrous levels I've ever played in any game. There are no decent combo lines, weird paths that take you all over, a ring of fire that is just plain awkward, and all of the objectives here require perfect landings every time. It's ridiculous! These are some of the most complicated and difficult maneuvers in the game, and when I finally land one, it wasn't perfect, so it doesn't count. Fuck you. But I did it. I didn't enjoy it, though I do enjoy seeing the game end with a cutscene of the Pro BMX star waking up a giant tiki idol and, transforming this game into a first-person shooter? What the hell is this fuckness? Seriously, what is going on here? Why does this game end with a first-person shooter boss fight firing rockets at a goddamned tiki monster? This is supposed to be a sports game. Do you ever just win a match of FIFA or NBA and suddenly start blasting away demons with the BFF and G? Of course not! Where does this come from? Who looked at a BMX and said, you know what would be great for this game? And then, how the fuck were they not fired immediately for even considering such a thing? This is without question the strangest ending to a video game I think I've ever seen. And once you win, you actually unlock the Tiki Monster as a secret character, which is neat, I guess. There are some other hidden characters you can find along the way, but it's so strange to me the lack of any unlockable level for completing the game. You get to play the boss fight again. Wow, what a reward worth killing myself to beat this game for. However, the Xbox version does include an exclusive bonus stage, but it's the worst level yet. No exaggeration. It's just a grey circle in central London with no obstacles, nothing interesting to see, and it's void of any life. If all the other street courses had vehicles and pedestrians, why can't this? And if Pro Skater 4 gets the Chicago level from this game as a bonus stage, then why couldn't this game get an actual good London level from Pro Skater 4 as a secret unlockable? I guess you could try to build your own custom level, but the busted interface and desperate selection of items makes this a complete catastrophe. So, that's it. That's the game. Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2 gets 4 out of 10. This game was so close to breaking free of the tired format and offering a fresh new experience within a bloated market. With strong graphics and super in-depth and realistic control, the foundation was there, but reverting back to the tired objectives that were suffocated by the control scheme and poor level design crippled this game in the end. Now, there was also the Game Boy Advance version of Pro BMX 2, which was actually highly regarded as the superior way to play this game. No, I'm kidding. That was just a joke. I'm very sorry for lying. I hope you can all forgive me. It's the exact same thing as last time. Awkward navigation due to the two-dimensional structure is back to restrict movement and making you feel physically handicapped for 2 minutes at a time. We do have manuals now, which is a nice improvement, allowing you to string tricks together, but yeah, in practice, I still find it to be incredibly unreliable and just not enjoyable in the slightest. It looks okay for a GBA title and whatever, but I really just don't care at this point. There are more levels which is hard to argue against, but that just means more effort is required to unlock the extent of this mediocrity. If they're not going to emulate what worked for Tony Hawk on this system, then it's a lost cause and a weak 3 out of 10. I can't believe it. We're only halfway through this year's special, and these games have already ran completely dry. But is there any chance for Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer to moisten up this O2 shit show? Well, take a guess. A game where every level is a water level? We're fucking doomed. So be sure to join me tomorrow when we take a look. But until then, consider picking up some Hawktober merchandise, or better yet, back the channel on Patreon and gain early access to new videos as well as 10% off of merch when you pledge $5 or more. All of the links can be found in the description below this video, and it's a great way to support the channel if you think I've earned it. And if you've enjoyed this video and the rest of the special so far, then remember to leave a like, subscribe, and share the videos with your friends and on social media. I'm Square Eyed Jack, and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.